Good morning. I'm Chris Wright. I'm the CTO of Moxie Technology, and we're a UK-based company. We're focused on design-led R&D into consumer energy. We file a lot of IP. Some of our products go out through IP, through partnering and venturing. We're focused on smart energy with a particular focus on DC and low power. We previously launched the USB cell intelligent batteries category, and now through Moxie Technology we're launching our home energy systems, which are doing smart detection and control to enable grid shift of loads through monitoring and analysis and some controls, but also adding to that mix easy to install microgeneration and a little bit of off-grid storage. And this is all enabled by DC micronets. We're also running some R&D grants through TSB. This is by way of a sort of an illustration of something we've done before. And the interesting thing that I'd like to point out here is that we took this product from patented concept through to award-winning product on the shelf in 6 months, which I think is quite impressive, through manufacturing in Asia, etc. We've coined this term the long tail of energy consumption, where a lot of people have focused a lot of effort on monitoring and controlling high-load devices. And we think it's also interesting to focus on low-load devices, which are ever increasing. And the ESD estimates that they're currently at around 8% of domestic energy consumption for sort of gadgets and ICT, and that predicted by them to rise to some 45% by 2020. And obviously paired with this is the decreasing prices and increasing efficiency of local microgen, which we're keen to link together with that sort of low-load devices and create a solution around that. We're looking at the shift in loads to DC in the home. So currently, those usually involve an adapter plugged into your wall socket, which is frequently some 50% inefficient. They also lead to kind of terrible sort of arrangements, such as you see on the right. And we're seeing LED lighting as a potential tipping point, because LED lighting is effectively a DC device, a low-power device, and more efficiently powered from DC than it would be from AC. And we're also seeing that providing DC power in the home can enable the use of off-the-shelf appliances that you can buy today, which are radically more efficient than what you might buy for an AC. An example being a fridge. You can buy a fridge which uses 77 watt-hours a day to run, as opposed to the sort of 250 kilowatt-hours a year for a normal fridge. We're also obviously interested in how this can offer things back to the supply side of this equation. EDF tell us that some 30% of the peak load that they're interested in shifting is actually DC devices, so people coming home and turning on their Wii or their laptop and those sorts of things. And that we think that through a small quantity of microgeneration capacity and storage, you can actually address a significant proportion of that at very low cost. We're interested in enabling people to take action. So a lot of people, including us, are interested in monitoring and identifying loads in the household in order to facilitate control in that area. We're well aware that lots of people are working in that area. What we're trying to add to that mix is some power generation, some power provision through our system, enabling people to shift how they're powering their devices, and the enabling technology that we've developed for that is DC micronets. And we think that this is an enabler of persistent change, as opposed to the sort of results that some people have found where it's not terribly persistent, the change that you create. What does our system sort of look like? We're, the core of the system is a home energy hub, which provides power to DC devices at the voltage that they require using a sort of smart cable technology, some integrated small-scale renewables, some integrated small-scale storage, smart control and monitoring across multiple platforms. This is illustrated with the iPhone app that we've developed. Communicating with a smart meter or clamp-on device in order to monitor and give information about their mains consumption. And then power provision, which we then turn into a micro-network around the house by cannibalizing the existing lighting circuit in a home and reusing that existing infrastructure in the home using our smart light switches. So all you have to do is switch the light switch, and that enables you to provide DC outputs where that it might be convenient. For example, people often have a light switch next to their desk or by their kitchen counter where they can plug in devices. We're interested in offering control and advice that works. So we're not terribly interested in information that doesn't necessarily mean anything to the consumer. You tell someone, an average person, that they're using 1.3 kilowatts of power, they don't know what that means. They have no metric to know whether that's good, bad, or average. We're also not interested in controls that are difficult to understand. We're working with Bureau Happold on a project, and they were doing some research. And they found that of the households they were studying, 4 of the 30 households could program their thermostat. And we think that that's not a workable solution to control in the home. So what does that mean for what we're doing? So the controls that we provide, which are, the interface is hosted by the hub unit using, incidentally, an ARM processor, across multiple platforms, on your browser, on your smartphone, on the touchscreen on the device, providing kind of intuitive and easy to understand controls for the systems that we're addressing in the home. But we're also interested in offering advice back to people based on the analysis that we can do in the hub. The data stays in the hub, so there are no privacy issues around the data because it belongs to the consumer and they've got the device. And we're kind of interested in advice that is meaningful, so it's kind of understood by the consumer to address something that they're concerned about. It should be based on specific analysis of their household, how they're using their energy. So it shouldn't be vanilla advice, this is a good thing to do. It should be specific based on how they've done. So this is an example where we've analysed that they've done their washing at 60 degrees and it could change to 30 degrees, which might enable us to bring in a partner. We'd be interested in selling you some washing powder, but you can offer them a specific advice. This is the saving you'd make if you made this change. And that brings the next thing, it should be actionable. So it should be a call to action, that it's something they can actually do something about. We're also interested in technology that's transparent. And what I mean by that is that there's no need necessarily to have sort of complex controls around your thermostat. For example, this is an example where we're monitoring their mains electricity. A little bit of lightweight software in our system enables us to build a model of how people occupy in their home and map that to control of their heating system. You can provide them a very simple override, but basically, and the research has shown that can save sort of 20 or 30% of the energy that people use on their heating, because often, for a lot of people, their heating systems are just not set optimally to how they use the house. If you want to go to the next stage, your iPhone app, it's a location-aware device. It can notice when you leave the office and you don't go home, you go to the pub and not turn on the heating. We're interested in scale. So some 600 homes in 2006 took on the kind of becoming a sort of solar project house thing. A few thousand over the last decade. In that period, 9 million homes, a third of UK households have had Sky installed. And actually, to us, that looks remarkably similar to taking some action on renewable energy. Someone's come to the house, they've mounted a panel on the wall, they've drilled cables into the home, they've fitted a box which provides services in the living room, and that's supported by a revenue model which works. So we're interested in finding a way of creating a product that could scale in that way rather than in that way. So to that end, we're developing a flat pack version of our system which might provide, for example, a way of very quickly and at low cost pulling your home office off grid, for example. Very easy to install solar kit. We can install this in 15 minutes outside of a window. You don't need a ladder. The hub unit comes with the cables for your devices, a little bit of backup battery power which works with that to store the energy when you're perhaps not using it in the day if you're at work. And that can then be expanded to use the micro network around the house as consumers see a benefit of it. So we're interested in a stepwise approach that's effective. Example of the installation of the 15-minute install of our patented mounting bracket system, and various other kind of non-traditional solar that we think is interesting. These are low amounts of power that's creating, but then increasingly the devices that one's using every day are actually consuming relatively small amounts of power. And we think it's very powerful to provide people a way of kind of pulling their devices off grid and incentivizing them to choose much more efficient devices in order to power them from the system. We're seeing LEDs lighting as a kind of key part of this. They're kind of massively more efficient than CFLs if they're used right. And they're a DC device. We're interested in battery technology which doesn't require kind of maintenance and replacement every so often. We're working with the largest battery company in China with their lithium ion, that's lithium rusty ion technology, very much higher cycle efficiency than lead acid, and an effective 20-year lifespan. So it's maintenance free, and that makes it a consumer proposition which is plausible. And then, you know, our advanced light switch, which form a node as well, but also a label. We've built into that the capability that they can form an input node to the network as well. We've patented our technology and our system. And we're finding that people are interested in this for a number of reasons. You know, people are aware that energy bills are rising, and they want to do something about that. Obviously for us, we're, you know, early systems going out there are going to early adopters who are interested in the sort of cool technology of that. We're finding that people have heard of you know, solar and think that that's something that they could do about their energy consumption, but when they find that it's £12,000 to put a system in, they go, oh, well, that's not possible then. So, and the idea is it's a low-cost way of people starting. We're interested in creating systems that could go out through big box retail. We're working with potential channel partners. We're doing currently a demonstration project with one of the large energy retailers, and beginning to build relationship with potential installers who could form a network as we go forward. Now I'm trying to switch to a video demo, just because, let's see, does the mouse work? Just to demonstrate that it's real, the products, the prototypes are working. This is a setup in one of our demonstration places, so you see the person's now attached their laptop to this and powering that. But similarly, they can also use our interface to control their system, their lights in this case, because that's a nice visual demonstration, but it could equally be other DC devices on the network. The remote light switch units where you can plug in a DC device, in this case a phone, to charge that up, and the system can you know, form a hub in a kind of off-grid home office scenario, but equally can control the larger system. Now, if I try and switch that. Where are we now? We've got demonstration. We've got prototype installs working. The hardware is all our own design, and we're currently going out to demonstrators with energy retail partners, and also consumer pilots, potentially through the TSB Smart Home call. We're involved in TSB Retrofit for the Future, so using another demonstration project in the team. We're also working with the BRE and the AIM4C thing with the major house builders to prove out the technology to scale in new developments. We're also obviously kind of working with some of the key people doing lighting, PV and battery technology, both in Asia and in Europe. Again, through Eurostars, we're doing R&D and trials in the Netherlands and the UK, and we've done a lot of channel partner development to this date. We're currently in another funding round. We raised some funding into this project earlier this year, and we're looking to raise another tranche of funding towards the end of this year through various metrics. In terms of our rollout, we're currently doing demonstrator projects and then rolling out at a larger scale to prove out the technology in a scaled rollout of demonstrator. And then, looking at our flat pack systems going to market through 2011, and then scaling that out from there. I just kind of like to end on a slide which is kind of why this is needed. Okay, this picture contains most of the elements of what people would regard as the kind of home of the future now. It's got some solar panels, it's nicely insulated, there's some wind power, they've got some driving an electric car, etc., etc., etc. The key point about this picture for us is that it was drawn in 1979, and it's not happening. So we think that we need to change the model of what constitutes how you make effective change and make it mass market.